Hi, and welcome to After Skiing Yoga. So, this is just a short little class to just kind of get those little fidgets and movements out of your body after skiing, but it'll also be great for after running or after biking or any kind of exercise with a lot of monotonous movement. So it's just to kind of go through the body and get all this out. So you might not wake up the next day and be quite as sore, or as it normally is. It's always 2 days later you get really sore. Anyway, so this is just a great kind of come down after a day full of activity, whether it's hiking or running or biking or skiing. But there is focus on the muscles that we're using with skiing today. So start by coming into Sukhasana, easy pose. Hands to your knees and close your eyes. Your belly expand. And gently contract as you exhale. And then start circling your torso. Big, exaggerated circles are getting into your belly. Then change direction. And come to center. Inhale, reach your arms up. And take your right hand over to your left knee, twist. Sit up as tall as you can. Inhale, back to center again. Reach your arms up. And twist. And come to center. Take your legs out in front. I've got sock fluff on my feet. And sitting with your legs straight out in front, see if you can spread your toes apart. And then point your toes. Flex, spread your toes, and point. And flex, spread the toes, and point. And relax. And then take your right ankle. And it's okay if you want to, it actually might be easier if you lift it up like this. So hug your thigh and then circle your ankle. So when you spend a whole day in ski boots, that's actually a lot. It's a lot of stagnated work for our ankles and our feet. So it's good to just get everything loosened up. Change direction. And set it back down. Move on to the other side. So lift that leg up, give that leg a little hug, circle your ankles. And you might feel a little bit of crunchiness or clunkiness, might be a sound, change direction. And that's okay. It's quite normal. I mean, you might have an old injury. And set it down. Bend your right knee, heel to the mat, right arm underneath your thigh, left arm over. So you are holding your thigh here. So what we want to do, we want to put some movement into your knee joint. And that means that you're going to turn your lower leg out to the side. The turning is not happening in the ankle. It's not happening in your thigh. You're holding it. So you can see it's all in your knee joint. So you're just going to turn it out and in. It's not a huge movement here, but it's a really important movement. There's a lot of ACL tears in skiing. And the reason being is there's a lot of knee movement and knee twisting in skiing, and we're not used to that. We're really good at training our knees really badly because for some reason we think that our knee is a joint that only moves back and forth, which is simply not true. You can see it. If you look down at your knee now, you can see there is a rotational movement happening in your joint. It might not be huge, but it's there. So if we only strengthen around the knee joint in this motion, you're going to have a weakness whenever you do rotational work. So when you go and do something like skiing and you're not used to it, guess what? You're going to injure yourself. So this is just a great little exercise for that. And you should really also do it as you're getting in shape for skiing. And release. Shake it out. Move over to the other side. Left arm underneath, right arm over. Isolate the movement. Heel on the mat. Externally rotate. Internal. And keep going side to side. Make sure that movement is happening in your knee joint. A few more. And come to center. Shake it out. Cross your shins. And come onto all four. And take a few cat-cows. Just move with your own breath here. Inhale, expand. Exhale, round your back. And then tuck your toes. Come into bent knee version of downward facing dog. Stay on your tippy toes. And inhale, roll forward. That full body opening. And roll all the way back. One more time. Roll forward. Open up. And back. And walk out the dog. And then come forward into a plank pose. Lower down into a forearm plank. And then lower down into a Sphinx pose. So on your forearms, gently activate by pulling your forearms back, opening up your upper chest. Make sure your shoulders are not your earrings. So you're lifting up through the crown of your head. Shoulder blades are coming down your back, and there's a little bit of engagement in your glutes. And then come all the way down onto your belly. Interlace your hands behind you. Reach your hands down towards your heels. Lift your chest off the mat. And then lift your legs off the mat. Again, engage your glutes. Locust. And come down. Come back into your Sphinx pose. Same thing, activating through your forearms. Shoulders away from your ears. And then press into your hands. Lift your forearms off the mat. Come into a seal pose. Make sure that you didn't just slide those shoulders up to your ears. I see that all the time. That, and then you suddenly just hanging out here. Shoulders away from the ears, reaching through the crown of your head. Engage your glutes. Shoulder blades are coming down. Maybe a little bit of engagement in your belly as well. And come back down. Make your way back into a downward facing dog. And inhale, lift your right leg up. Step forward and come into a low lunge. And sink into the lunge here. So you can see we're kind of counteracting all the movement we might have done skiing when we're kind of like, ooh, crunch together. We're lengthening the front now. And then exhale, come into a half split. So half Hanuman, lengthening your spine. Pull that right thigh bone into your hip socket. And then come forward again. Come into a lizard pose. Both of your hands on the inside of your right foot. And you can sink down your hips. This is a good place to explore. So whatever feels good here, you can move around. Maybe it feels good to open the knee to the side. Just make sure that your toes are following your knee here. So if you're opening up, you're rolling onto the outside of your foot. And you can also come down onto your forearms if that feels good. Really just about moving with intuition here. And it's not always about, oh, this feels good. You know the difference between, oh, this feels good and this feels, oh, I need this. So sometimes it's referred to as, oh, hurt so good. I don't want you to hurt anything, but it's okay that it's uncomfortable. So you get to use your intuition here and be like, wow, I can feel that I need this stretch, even though it's not necessarily 100% pleasant. And at the same time, I want you to really notice the difference between discomfort and pain. I don't want you to be in pain here. If this is painful, back off. And come back up. Step back to downward facing dog. Inhale, lift your left leg up. Exhale, step forward. Come into that low lunge again. So your back knee's on the mat and sink into the lunge. I even have a little back bend here. And then come back into that half split. Pull your left thigh bone into the hip socket. Lengthen the spine. So it's as if you're letting your belly melt onto your thigh. And then come forward. Lizard pose. Again, your variation here doesn't have to be the same on this side. Again, you get to use your intuition, be present in your body, and notice, what do I need on this side? You're staying away from pain, but not necessarily discomfort. And step back to downward facing dog. Let your knees come down to the mat. Cross your shins, walk your hands back, come to seated. I want you to set up in a 90-90 pose. So 90-90 means we're starting with the right leg forward. So right thigh comes straight forward, 90-degree bend in the knee. Left thigh comes straight out to the side, 90-degree bend in the knee. Sit up as tall as you can and circle your torso and change directions. So this might already feel pretty gnarly on the outside of that left hip, and that's okay. It's pretty normal. Come to center. Press the inside of that back foot into the mat. Lift the back knee up and down, up and down, and up and down. Now for the really gnarly part. Press the inside of that back knee into the mat. Try and lift the lower leg. Don't use your hands. This is all about the engagement to lift. So if your leg is not lifting up today, don't worry about it. I want you just to work on engaging the muscles. That's what's important. So when you're ready, lift up or not, but engage the muscles. If you can do it without hands, do that. But it's okay to support yourself. And back down. And up. And down. And up. And down. Now, if you're not used to this kind of work, you might be thinking, holy crap, what is this? And you might be feeling crampy on the outside of your hip, and it's not fun. Just know that the more uncomfortable this is for you, the more you need it, because that means you have a weakness in the outside of your hip. And if you don't have the outside of your hip to support yourself, you're much more likely to injure yourself when you do things like skiing. Come back to center, shake it out, move over to the other side. Fingertips to the mat, sit up tall, and again, you're going to circle. And you might find that there's a big difference from side to side here. One tends to be a lot weaker than the other. Change direction. So if this is really difficult for you, guess what your homework is? Come to center. I'm just going to turn around so you can see what I'm doing. There. Press the inside of the back foot into the mat. Lift the knee up and down and up and down and up and down. Press the inside of the back knee into the mat. Again, we're going to lift up. No use of your hands here. That's not what it's about. Lift and down. Lift and down. And lift and down. Come back to center. Shake it out. Good job. Lean over onto your left butt cheek. Bend your right knee. Place your fingertips at the back of your knee and just gently pull your calf muscle down. So you create some space at the back of your knee. Come into this kind of half hero's pose. Ground both of your sit bones. If this is really difficult for you, it's okay to take a block and sit on that. So this is very much an elevator pose, as I like to call them. And that means you get off at whatever floor you need to get off at. And that means right here might be intense for you. By all means, stay right here. This is a nice little knee stretch. You might have heard when you were a kid, don't sit like this. It's going to give you weird knees or something like that. And it's simply not true. Again, we're back in the concept of, yeah, we want to actually strengthen and train our knees out of alignment to make them stronger. So when you're on the slopes, you're not going to mess yourself up. Inhale, reach your arms up. And take a forward fold. Again, only if this is available to you. So this is actually a nice stretching of the quads. We're using our quads a lot, not just when we ski, but when we run and bike. And often we get such tight quad muscles that they start to pull on the knee, and we start getting sore knees simply from not stretching the front. Come back up to seated. And now we're really getting into the quad stretch, because see if you can come down onto your elbows, both your butt cheeks on the mat. Of course, you can stay right here. You might feel your foot starting to cramp up, in which case you have your hand right here. Just put your fist in your foot and give yourself a little massage. This is what's referred to a neurological cramp, and that means it's simply your nervous system or your brain is not used to be in this position. So it gets confused because it doesn't think you have the range to be here, which looking at it, you clearly do. Your legs are not falling off, but your brain is not aware of it. So it sends these signals to your muscles going, hey, wait a minute, we're not sure about this. And if you can go all the way down on your back, do that. But so neurological cramping is something that can actually, you can breathe through it. It will eventually release, and you can also give it a little rub. And that's really going to help it. It's about retraining your brain to understand that, yes, indeed, you do have range here. And slowly make your way back up. Lean over onto your left butt cheek. Unfurl yourself and shake it out. Lean over onto your right butt cheek. Bend the left knee. Again, take your fingertips to the back of your knees. Gently pull the calf muscle down, creating a bit of space. Sitting up tall. Again, you decide where the pose is for you today. So you can stay right here. If this is super intense, by all means stay. Otherwise, inhale, lengthen. Exhale, forward fold. And it's also okay to be like, okay, the forward fold is not working for me, but it works for me to get back on my elbows. Just skip this. This is the thing. We all have different stuff going on. Come back up. And maybe come down onto your elbows. And maybe you stay right here. Or maybe you come all the way down. So when you do this, if what happens is that this leg lifts up, you simply don't have the range to do it. So get back up on your elbows. And make your way back up. There's no graceful way of coming out of this pose, I'm afraid. Lean over onto the right butt cheek, unfurl the knee, and again, shake it out. And take your right leg and cross over your left leg, stacking the knees. So you can see if I move, you can see me from the front. You can see my knees are stacked. And you can stay right here. Again, if it isn't intense for you right here, stay. Otherwise, start moving in to a forward fold. You're not forcing anything, so I don't want you to just grab your foot and pull yourself super deep. Allow your body to relax into the fold. Allow your body to release. And then maybe you'll find a little bit more space. Pay attention to what muscles feels tight here. And then come back up. And move over to the other side. Again, stacking the knees. Sit up tall and stay right here. Or take a fold. And notice what's tight on this side. It might be something else. So on a personal note, I'm always noticing that on on the other side, I very much feel it in the hamstrings, moving all the way down into the calf muscle. Here on this side, it's all kind of on the outside of my thigh. And there's nothing right or wrong here. It's just making those observations and understand that our bodies are not completely balanced. And when we have that knowledge, we can also start addressing the imbalances. And come back up. And then make your way down onto your back. Knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Cross your right ankle over your left side. Thread the needle. Come into a recline pigeon pose. Soften your shoulders, your sacrum. And release. Make your way over to the other side. Hopefully your body is starting to soften and can lengthen your exhale. Feel your belly move with your breath. And release. And then I want you to press the back of your head into the mat. Just getting a little bit of engagement into your neck here. Releasing any tension. This is also great if you've been on the phone all day, on the computer. And release. Hug your right knee into your chest. Let your left leg come flat down onto the ground. And take a recline twist. Come back to center. And make your way over to the other side. Soften your shoulder. With every exhale, release whatever is there to be released. And it might be muscular, it might be mentally, anything you need to let go of, do that. And come back to center. And take a Shavasana. Let your palms face the sky, close your eyes, relax your whole body. Shavasana might not seem as an important pose, an important thing to do, but this is in fact where you're allowing your nervous system and your brain to collect all the information you've just given it by stretching and moving. And you're allowing your body to process what we've just done. So it's almost as imagine you're downloading something onto your computer, but you're stopping before it comes to 100%. And then gently move your fingers and your toes. Make your way onto your side. And gently press yourself back up to seated. Hopefully you're feeling nice and relaxed. Your body is feeling a little looser. And you'll be ready for a day full of activities tomorrow. Thank you for practicing with me. Namaste.